Hey everybody, welcome to Hold the Mic. We are your hosts, Ryan and Ian. Brother, how are you doing?
What up, Doe? I'm doing good, man. I'm doing
Good.
it's this felt like a really long week as we got
Ah,
into
it
this
did.
like holiday weekend.
It did.
So
I
I'm gonna
think,
just give a shout out to all you guys. I hope y'all did not have as long as a week, but this felt like
I'm
final
telling you,
stretch.
I think everybody is going to need a well-deserved vacation this weekend, or they've earned it.
Man. Oh,
I'm
ooh,
telling you.
I feel like you are 100% spot on.
And
How
the
you
shout out,
feeling, man? You were supposed to have a detox. I saw the clips. My man
yeah,
said, "Hello, America. I'm getting away from you today." And no, I did not run. Okay, America, I'm not hiding. I just am taking a moment. This is a
yeah, man.
PSA. So how did that PSA go? How did the whole decompression go?
It went well. It was harder to stay off than I thought. You
I saw
know,
you 24 hours later.
Well, yeah, I did a couple videos.
It's
Well, one
like,
thing, okay, but if you're gonna go there, you got to give the context. So,
all right.
so, so I posted a video and stuff and said, hey, I'm gonna take a break. I didn't know how long it was gonna be, and I said, hopefully I can stay off because we never know what's happening, what's gonna come up. And I text Ian and I said, hey, bro, I'm just trying to take a little bit of a break, so just let me know if you see anything that I should post about.
And all
And
I
the
wrote
next
was, "I love you, boo boo.
yeah, he's like,
Enjoy."
no, you said I got you, boo boo, is what you said.
I got you,
But
boo boo.
um, but then the next day he texts me a fucking story, and I'm like, well, shit,
Yeah,
I got to go do a video about it.
yeah.
And then Trump doesn't testify, and then Nikki Haley comes out and says she's still gonna vote for
Hell of
him.
a week, man. Hell of a
It
week.
was just it was like, oh, you thought you were gonna take a break this week? Ha ha ha
Yo,
ha.
man. Yo.
But I still did manage to stay off, spend time with the kids. Like we went out today, got new Legos and shit. That's
Dope.
what they wanted for finishing school this year. And by the way, just a little parental brag: my kids made the honor roll and the principals list,
Dope.
both of them. So they are now on to fifth grade and fourth grade,
Yeah.
respectively. And I can't believe how freaking old we are
Next
getting.
generation, man. Here we go.
I'm telling you, man,
Better
they're
than
going to
us.
be. It's funny. I was talking to Dominic the other day, and I told him the same thing my dad used to tell me. He's like, "I want you to be better than me," and he's like,
Yeah.
"What do you mean?" He's like, "I want to be like you," and I go, no. I said, "I want you to be better than Dad."
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
said, we always want our kids to be better than us. It's like I didn't name you Ryan Jr. for a reason.
Yeah.
I didn't name you after my dad for a reason. I gave you your name so that you can make your own path, be your own man, and you're never going to be compared to anybody else in the family, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
We put a lot of thought into, naming the kids. It was done very purposely.
I would hope so, man. I would hope so. I mean, it's one of those things that I think is very spiritual. You know what I mean? Where it's
Oh
between you
yeah,
two, where you get to really kind of just like have those moments. And it's funny is that I'm sure, and most people can say this. You went through 15 million names and you're throwing them around and you're like thinking about all of it. But the moment you see them, you
yeah,
know the name.
yep,
You know, right then and there in the hospital, you're like, that's who you are. That's who or
yep.
wherever you have your kid. I'm sure the
Liv,
moment you see their face, you're like, that's who you are. You
Liv,
know.
we had picked out. Livy's story was actually funnier. So we were arguing about her name, and Jen wanted to name her Athena so bad, and I didn't like it at all. Like I was like, we're not naming our kid that. Like no. So we were at 32 weeks. We were
Mm,
getting like the 3D ultrasound done. We
mm.
still didn't have the name picked out. We were still arguing. So we're sitting down in this ultrasound place has like hundreds of names. Like they write the names of the kids that have come. And it was really cool. So we're looking at names and we actually were making fun of them. If I'm being God honest, like we're reading some of them, we're like, oh
Both of y'all
damn,
going to hell. Both of
yeah we
y'all.
are, yeah. I'm driving the bus.
Pregnant
Um,
ass, pregnant ass Jen,
she
just sitting
started
there
it.
laughing at
She
people.
actually started it, so she can blame it on hormones, and then I was just the enabler. Um,
Ryan Rant in the nursery. Here we go. It's like,
so we're looking at the names, and we're kind of joking out a couple of them, and then we come across Olivia, and I was just kind of like, I really like Olivia,
it's a pretty name.
and she was like, I kind of like it too.
It's
And
classy.
then this is going to tell you who my wife is and how she does business. So then she says, you like Olivia? And I go, yeah. I go, what do you think? We can name her that. And she goes, yeah. She goes, you pick the first name and I get to pick the middle name.
Mm.
I was like, deal. I was so fucking excited. I was like, done. I'll take it. Handshake. It was over. And then she goes, Olivia Athena it is.
I was gonna say I already know
Swear
that
to God,
middle name.
dude. And
I
I
already
was
know that
like,
middle name, boy. I just she plays chess. All right,
oh,
you
dude.
playing checkers.
Yeah.
She's playing chess.
I'm not playing tic tac toe.
Yo,
She's.
I'm counting marbles. It's
Yeah,
like
right.
that's where you are.
For sure, dude.
You got. But it's a
Yeah.
beautiful name.
Oh yeah.
All
She
together,
got
it's a
me.
beautiful name.
She got. But the funny thing is, like a lot of things, the name has really, grown on me because it has meaning. It had meaning for Jen.
Absolutely.
And then Dominic, his middle name is Alexander, and we gave him that because we thought it was a strong name. We like Dominic. It just sounded good. So like I said, we definitely picked names. We wanted them to have strong names. Like you said, like somebody you hear their name and you're just like, all right, yeah.
You just know it.
Yeah,
right
you're
there.
like, okay. And like you said, you look at him, you're like, yeah, you look like an Olivia. You look like an Athena.
It's so true. You act like a, you know what I'm saying? You act like it comes with it. It comes with the territory.
This is interesting. Rochelle said, my mom changed my name after my dad left the hospital after I was born. Like, could you imagine that? Like, could you bring that birth certificate back here, please?
Yeah,
thank you.
bring that over here.
You got any white out? Can we white out?
You gonna fix that real quick.
We're gonna fix that.
Papa Bear did not sign anything. That's what happened.
And then they mail it to the house, and he opens it. And it's like, what the?
Yo, Miss Murphy, is Dad still around? I just want to make sure that fight is not still happening.
Ooh,
or does he call you by a different name? That'd be a very interesting Thanksgiving.
Yeah, welcome.
He's like, hey, Beth. She's like, that's not my name, Dad.
Yeah, and the boyfriend's like, why is he calling you Beth? Long story, don't ask.
It was a twin. They killed that one. I just keep playing the part. It is what it is.
See, this is why we go an hour and 50 minutes because we don't even get started with the timeline for 10 minutes.
No. We got to decompress, baby. It's been a week. It
has been, and like I said, I had a good week. Took a lot more time than usual with the kids. I wasn't in the comment sections a whole lot Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, but I definitely been going hard all morning. And all my Kyle Rittenhouse haters that are watching on Twitter right now, love you.
Hi, haters.
Love you.
Hey, man. I see some friends and I see some enemies, man. That's where we are. Always,
hey, man.
Always and forever.
Views are views, baby. Views are views.
You could be anywhere in the world, even burning crosses, but you're here with us. Thank you.
You're here with us on Friday night.
All right, let's get into the script, baby. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's get into it. So the first thing we want to talk about is Nikki Haley. So Nikki Haley, after completely destroying Donald Trump on the campaign trail, like calling him and she wasn't wrong, by the way. Like everything she said about Donald Trump was 100% correct.
Yeah.
And so now to hear her come out and say, but I'm still going to vote for him, it just blows my freaking mind.
When I think of Nimrata, it's Nimrata, isn't it? Speaking of
her real name, her first name, yes.
Yes, her real name. Speaking of names, I really think about this is that that clip that you talked about, that story you talked about with Vivek and Ann Coulter. And I think about that with this party because she is a woman of Indian descent. And I think about this where it's like, this was the number one hope of the Republican Party showing their cards of like, no, we're down for this progress in our party. And they clearly went with the old white dude that looks almost as tan as her, but clearly a spray paint. And you think about it where it's like she was something that actually was the last bit of their moral compass. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
But you see how deep she goes. You know what I mean? The fact that she had all this to say, and I get it, it's politics. And it makes me think, okay, well, what kind of dirt? But it's like, this man literally ridiculed your husband who is in the armed forces and was overseas and attacked you for it.
Yep.
And now you're going to sit here and like beg for this man? Like you're trying to get back in his circle? Like it's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, that was one of the most disgusting parts it's like, he sat here and like literally disparaged your husband. Yeah. And on top of that has called, our veterans who have died losers and suckers.
Yeah.
Like that's the guy you're going to go vote for. And that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Well, it's not, you know what, Ryan? I'm over trying to justify people's what they're willing to what they're willing to eat. You know,
Yeah.
they're gonna be shoveling shit, but what they're willing to eat. Okay.
Yep.
And the thing is, because if it's not the rape case, if it's not this fraud, if it's not this, you're over here chasing porn stars while your wife is pregnant, with your fifth child.
And call it what it is. He's a convicted he's been found liable of sexual abuse.
Yeah.
He's been accused of being a pedophile and sleeping with a 13-year-old girl.
Okay.
I have video of him saying he wants to sleep with his own daughter.
Right.
Been posting that all week, and they completely glaze over that.
Yep.
It's like we've got tape of him saying.
Told her. Yep.
We've got tape of him saying that he can assault women, and they let him do it because he's famous, and they still voted for him in 2016 after that came out.
Yep.
But they want to ride their high horse and talk about Ashley Biden. But then when you show them the letter that Ashley Biden wrote to the judge in the court, they dismiss that.
Right.
Because it totally debunks their talking point.
So once again, it's the hypocrisy. I'm at a place where it is. I no longer am thinking for any reason why people have this amnesia of what happened during his presidency. When people talk about how good their lives were under Trump, and I'm like, and then how did it go? How did it end? How did it end? There's a reason why he got voted out. How did it end?
Yeah.
And it's like they never want to touch on that, right? And I always laugh about it. I go, if you look at presidencies, they don't see it in their term if they did it correctly. It gets handed to the next president.
Right.
Obama was trying to hand America to Hillary Clinton. They had the wrong candidate at that time, right? She was overqualified for the job. Don't get me wrong. She's absolutely overqualified for it. It just shows where America was.
And won the popular vote. More Americans voted for her.
She won the popular vote. She won the popular vote.
2.8 million more Americans voted for her.
You're 100% correct about that. But the way that the system works.
But the way the system works, yeah.
They were not going to give it to her, and that's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And with that said, and that's actually interesting when you think about the Electoral College, how many times it's actually gone against the popular vote. When you look at it, it's been more recent in our lifetime than it has in the entire existence.
As long as we've been able to vote, a Republican should not have been president.
That is correct. That is correct. Yeah.
When you look at it that way, for us, it's like, shit, I'm 42.
Yeah.
And I should have never seen a Republican president.
Yeah.
If we went off of the popular vote.
Right. If it was one vote, one count. Yeah.
Which is why the Electoral College is such bullshit. It's completely outdated.
A lot of things are outdated. A lot of things. Hell, look at your abortion ban that got implemented. A lot of things are outdated, and we need to go backwards, and we need to start looking at our laws, and we need to start updating everything that's there, and we need to start making some amendments. It's just a reality,
And I think this would probably be a good segue actually into the Louisiana thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So, here we go.
So I'm actually glad you said that, because that connected it for me. So if you haven't heard, Louisiana has designated an abortion pill as a controlled substance.
Yep. We are officially going there.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna say it. And I told you I'm not gonna curse. We need to add Viagra to the list.
Oh, 100%.
Women, I need you to come with your anger, and I need you to hit them where it hurts, but not just their pocketbook.
But there's a reason for this. This isn't just us saying this to be reactive. The reasoning is because Viagra is actually more dangerous to a human.
That's correct.
Than this.
Yes. Yeah.
So their reasoning for doing this is just so messed up.
Their reasoning is literally what is happening with Viagra. Because this is far safer. And when they are talking about it, they're like, well, do you know that actually this is better than Viagra by leaps and bounds? And this is actually good for women's health.
Yep.
Where Viagra...
There's no reason to make this a controlled substance other than controlling women.
Mm-hmm.
And controlling birth rates.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally all this is about. And this one too is for all the haters out there saying, you guys are so stupid. They're not trying to ban, birth control and things like that. Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
They're testing the waters right now as we speak.
And if this is allowed to go, watch how the dominoes fall.
And I don't know if I sent it to you, but your favorite,
rebuttal.
What's her name? The little, crying
Marjorie
Brit.
Taylor Greene?
No, crying Brit in the kitchen. Um, she
Oh,
passed a bill where she's trying to pretty much document and track women's pregnancy in an app.
oh, I saw that.
Yeah, there's
That's
some things. I
insane.
mean, they're really working on something, man.
Like
They're
states
working.
literally, I think Texas has something too where they want to control, they want to monitor pregnant
Yes,
women.
and they
That is
want. And if you
absolutely
travel, if you
fucking
can afford to
insane.
travel and you travel, they want to prosecute.
Yeah, and the way that they're doing that is they're saying if you use the interstate to drive out of state, that's how they're getting them.
Yeah.
That they use the public highway or something like that to go murder a baby or
Yeah.
whatever it is they say. It's like,
I
are you
got into it.
guys?
I got into it with a conservative friend I grew up with. We went to. I've known him since elementary school, and it's one of those things where he went into the army, and it's one of those where I realized I saw the shift, and we really started going at it politically 4 years ago. For because this is like the anniversary of George Floyd, right?
Mhm.
Here we are, almost 4. It is. It's 4 years since George Floyd. Time is flying by, and we got into it, and he was just talking about the Chiefs punt kicker, whatever, pigskin
Harrison
kicker,
Butker, yeah.
whatever his name is, and the fact that liberals are making such a big deal of him making a speech about his religious freedoms to a religious school, and I'm like, I don't think all Catholics are like that. I think there
No.
are, like, of any religion, but I don't see why that speech of him telling women that they, were lied to and that they need to, get in the house. And it's like, I go, so how was his dissolution talk to men? Because he didn't tell men they were disillusioned. You know what I mean? He didn't tell them
Yeah.
that they were. It was the way he did it. And I go, so you think just because he justified saying that men need to be in their children's lives is just as good as telling women that they're delusional? Pretty much. I'm like,
Yeah. And to
there's
get
something
back in the
off that
kitchen.
you even accept that you alone accept that. And then we got into it about abortion, and I'm just like, why do you come from a party that talks about live and let live, and that here you are where you have an issue. You have an absolute issue. It's weird control. Like, I get whatever works for you and your wife in your household, and this is the symbiotic relationship that you guys created, and it works. I'm all for it. I want to
Yep.
see you achieve. But you want to tell the person down the street how they need to live because they need that you think you're the idle American?
And
Like, I'm
shame
like, it's,
them. Yeah.
and then try to shame them on top of that. It's like,
Yeah.
but in the end, it try to control them. It's more than shame. You want to try to pass laws where then now you're dictating how they live their life. And this is the part where I really question their empathy, because I feel like they lack empathy for their neighbor, plain and
Oh,
simple.
100%.
And I'm like, for you to tell me that this is how this religion works, I'm like, no, this is how extremists work.
Yeah. It
This
was
is
an
how
extremist.
it starts.
Yeah. And look, it was not an appropriate speech for a graduating class. It just wasn't.
Great job
It,
getting your degree. Now get your in the
yeah, now
kitchen.
get your ass back in the kitchen. Like it should have been about the people graduating.
Making
It should
pancakes to pay
have
off your student loans.
like how much of a slap in the face was it to the women in that that were getting their degree that day to look at
Yeah.
them and say, well, I'm sure most of you are probably far more excited about being a stay-at-home mom, and giving up your career like my wife did. And my wife will tell you firsthand that she is so much happier now.
Yeah.
Like, are you
Yeah.
guys like the misogyny and the
And let me say this too. The privilege.
mm,
Okay. Because he's
yeah.
also making a lot of money where his housewife
Do
is
you know
making
and
money.
what did his mother do? What is his mother?
You tell me.
She's a scientist. She's like a freaking physicist or something like that. Like she is a world
So
renowned
so
scientist.
are you telling me he has mommy issues because she wasn't around to make pancakes?
That could be.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe some therapy in your life is what you needed.
As
Not
somebody
that
with mommy
speech.
issues, that's
You know what I
very
mean?
possible.
Because it kind of read that way. It kind of read that way.
Kinda.
Delusion.
It read
Nice
like
mom.
or maybe his dad is just a real misogynist piece of garbage. But again, if you're married or you were with a woman who is a scientist, it would be really weird of you to have this position that because of your religion you should stay home and screw your education, forget
What
all that
you know
hard
what?
work.
Now that you tell me that, it makes so much more sense. He went far away from actual science to run to religion.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
What is
like,
the most
really...
anti-science thing you can talk about?
Yeah.
Religion.
My man, literally, he just wanted to suckle on the teat. That's all he's wanted.
It's fun. You know what? It's funny. I didn't make that connection till you said it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
like that really,
he's
like when
the
you,
complete opposite of his mother.
Here we are on Hold the Mic, psychoanalyzing. You know, weak men who
I'm just
kick
glad
balls
it's somebody
for a
else
living.
this time and not me.
Hey, you can't be a punching bag, baby. Not every Friday. Here we go. If anybody wants to bring their issues to this show, we do therapy live every time.
We do
every Friday.
We're gonna start.
Also, all of you guys who are joining us,
start charging.
All the new members who are coming in, like, subscribe, please hit the notifications. We do this every Friday here on Hold the Mic. We try to make a lot of the mess. For this show, we're trying our hardest not to curse. YouTube told us that we are on the naughty list, and we're trying to behave a little bit more. But for all of you guys, I see a lot of names. Ryan's going to be quiet this episode. Watch. She's going to be quiet. If y'all see Ryan get up and walk away, it's because it's for a reason.
Oh, man.
But I do see a lot of returning members, and we want to send a lot of love to you guys. You guys have been really holding us down. You guys are our rock. We really appreciate you guys. So for sure. But you already know that we are sweet and spicy on this show. So, it just depends on what the topic is.
So, Jeff, Jeff says, I'm surprised Patrick Mahomes didn't condemn the comments. I'm going to tell you, I'm not. I'm not surprised that his teammates haven't come out and given him the public lashing. If they did, it would be justified, I think.
His complexion matches more of Kaepernick than it does the white boy.
Yeah, but so there's also video. There's also video of Mahomes out there saying that he sits right next to that dude, and they don't say a word to each other. So he may not be standing up on the podium and publicly bashing him, but there is video out there of Mahomes previous to this saying they don't fuck with each other. Like that they literally sit right next to each other in the film room and they don't say a word to each other. And it's like, yeah, because Mahomes is from a mixed family and he's the wrong color. It's like after listening to that speech, I know exactly why you don't talk to him.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah. He probably talks like that in the locker room, and Mahomes like, get out of my way. Like, you're just a kicker. Like, get out of my way.
Yep.
Yeah,
so, that's another thing, dude needs to realize, like, he kicks a football for a living. Like.
Oh, Missy said Mahomes made a supportive statement yesterday on air. So,
yeah,
we missed it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not surprised his teammates aren't bashing him. Yeah. Like, it's really not surprising. And I'm not sitting here saying he should lose his job. Like, dude said what he said. And we have the right to respond the way that we're responding and call him out for his comments and the intentions of the comments.
He's still looking for breastfeeding. That's all we're saying. Here on Hold the Mic.
I just, like I said, I'm not sitting here saying dude should lose his job or whatever.
No,
I don't think he said anything.
He just needs some Cambodian breast milk. That's all he needs. That's all we're saying. Get it in his diet.
Needs some freaking perspective.
Yeah.
Besides misogyny and whatever.
Cambodian breast milk. That's what he needs.
Like I said, we do have to remember that we all have freedom of speech is a thing. Even though I think some people misinterpret that. I don't have a problem with people using their voice. It's when you start advocating violence, releasing people's personal information, that's when you start crossing that line. And he didn't advocate violence. He just said a lot of things that left a lot of people shocked and just going, wow, that was not appropriate for a college graduation.
Yeah. But
he is. I will say that I think calling him the poster boy for extreme right Christian movement is fair. I think that's a fair comment.
That is definitely in the ranks.
Yep. All right. So moving on to maybe my favorite topic of the show, Donald Trump decided not to testify under oath. Bro.
You literally hit me up. You're like, Ian, but he's been saying it. Say it ain't true. I go, come on, man.
Before we even get started, let me just show you a small video clip before we get roasting this dude.
Yes. You plan to testify in your trial in New York?
Yeah, I would testify, absolutely. It's a scam. It's a scam.
Well, I'm not allowed to testify. I'm under a gag order. I guess. I can't even testify.
Is the gag order stop you from testifying?
No. You want stop me from testifying. The gag order is not to testify.
Man. Ryan, you first.
Dude, it's just like I never thought that he was going to testify.
No.
Like, there was never a moment where I thought he was going to take the stand. And it was going to be one of two reasons. Number one, either he realizes that it would not go well, or his lawyers would tackle him on the way to the stand to make sure that he didn't get there, because they know that they're already in trouble and they don't need him making it any worse. Like, could you imagine what the cross-examination on that would be?
I can't, because I know it will never happen.
Oh, no, they'll never.
It will never happen.
This
I don't
man
care
will
how much
never
he
be
talks.
on the stand again
He
under oath ever.
is great at marketing. You have to give him
Yeah,
his
that's all he
credit.
is.
He literally is the best at making fake believe information, boasting about it, making everything sound super bigger than it is. From his hand size to his crowds to what he's gonna do. Stay tuned. Everything in his mind is pretty much a reality TV show.
Yes.
This court hearing was a reality TV show, right? He
Yep.
saw that this was getting him his ratings. Then he would fly wherever he had to go, to do his Wednesdays, his off Wednesdays. I mean, it's one of those things where when you listen to him speak, and you know that he can just riff as much as he wants to, which he hated this gag order.
Yep.
For him to then say, I can't testify because I'm on a gag order. Like, you're literally, you used to be the president of the United States, and everybody knows that a gag order is only specifically for what you're doing out there, but you can absolutely talk in here. And so it's just when you hear him talk, and you're just like, I always feel like everybody's just kind of just dumb after we listen to you talk. Like, it's just
Yeah.
like burp, and when you hear him and all his BS, you quickly realize that the moment that he has to say, I am going to tell the truth because I will be held in contempt, and also I will be then prosecuted for anything I say that is a lie here,
Mhm.
it's a no-go. And the
Yep.
fact that they didn't even need Michael Cohen for this trial, they had that much data, that much information that was
Yeah.
like line sync, they were never going to really, this is a solid case.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see how New Yorkers take to it, when they're in deliberation. So,
Yep.
so closing arguments are next week, and it's going to be really hook, line, and sinker is what I meant to say. Hook, line, and sinker, and when you see that deliberations next week, it's like this went by really fast.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's shocked. Like, wait a minute, what happened? I was sleeping. What happened?
Yeah, for real. And since I have a video for it, so this Focused Eagle troll says at least he gonna deport hella illegal aliens. It's funny, and I keep hearing these videos, and I'm gonna tell you after we listen to it what I think.
Seriously, who would let people come from prisons and jails, from mental institutions? They cannot stay. We will immediately begin the largest criminal deportation operation in our country's history, because this situation is sustainable by no country. No country can sustain this.
So then, why did he support not closing the border?
Yeah, and why did the Senate once again not?
No, but I'm just talking about the first round. Why did he get into the ear of Mike Johnson and everybody else and tell them to not make the deal so Biden would look good because he wants to campaign on it? So here we are campaigning on it.
Right.
So why didn't you do it?
Yeah.
If you cared about America the way you
Ooh,
say,
you'll love this one, Ian. Get him.
Immigration hurts poor blacks the most. Okay, first and foremost, immigration is the only thing that actually is keeping anybody afloat, and anybody in this country is an immigrant. I promised I was not going to curse, and I'm stopping myself right now from cursing. If you are not Native American, please take a seat. First and foremost. Second off, some of the things that you're writing makes me think that you got in this country illegally, and I just want to let you know that when we're talking about people getting into this country, they are the best thing for this economy. They are doing a majority of the jobs that Americans will not do, that are legal or illegal immigrants. And when you think about the people in Baltimore who died on that bridge, they were immigrants.
Yep.
So I want you to be very serious right now when you talk about people who come here who are working so hard. From generations ago to the very first Mayflower, I'm saying to you that it literally has been generations that have built this country and made it so much better than it is. And when you talk about blacks that are here, when you think about the situation of this country, when we talk about even a moment of reparations, you guys want to literally fold your tail and run and talk about, well, I wasn't a part of that. So when we really get into this, we need to really think about it.
Yeah.
I'm getting a notification about a oops overload, by the way, in the comments.
Oops overload?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Reload. Something happened with my comments because it's blowing up, regardless.
Oh.
So it is what it is. I'm not worried about the comment section.
Yeah.
For now, whatever that is.
So since we're talking about the border, let's talk real quick about the Senate again. I believe it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Failed to pass another bill for the border, but the really interesting thing about this one was some of the people that ended up voting against it, which of note was, of course, Sinema, Lankford, Susan Collins, Mitt Romney, but the one that jumped out to us was Cory Booker, Democrat from New Jersey, who voted against it. And that was the name that kind of made Ian and I both go, okay, what was in this? You know, Sinema, yeah, you expect her. You expect James Lankford. You expect them. You know, Susan Collins.
Lankford, they originally wrote the bill, which I was like, okay, and you saw him at the State of the Union literally quoting Biden, being like, yes, that was in the bill. Yes, that was in the bill.
Yep.
Yes, that was in it. And he was mad that bill was set up for failure. So what happened with this one, where, of course, he turned on it, Kristen Sinema, who was a part of the last bill, turned on this.
Yep.
But Cory Booker, what happened? What's in there?
Yeah, definitely. I want to do some more research and see what their reasoning was for voting behind.
We'll have to follow back up on that one.
Yeah, this is definitely one that we'll put on the outline for next week because, I wanna read more up on it because that's some interesting. Even Mitt Romney was a red flag because he was like he's come out and said they've literally told us to vote against this for Trump to help him. So to see him turn around and vote against it's like, okay, well, what the hell's going on?
Something's in this. Something's in this. We know it's not a single bill. We know it's not.
Yeah. So
why just like give the 1% like a tax write off? It's like wait, what?
Yeah.
Just watch. Something's hidden in there.
Yep. Oh man. So this is getting more and more interesting by the day, man. It's like it just feels like everybody points fingers and nobody wants to do anything. Oh, and by the way, the vote was 43 to 50 with the vote.
Yep.
So it lost support on both sides. Very interesting. It's like, oh, it's such a problem, but we can't figure out how to do it.
But is it? Just kicking the can down the
road?
I
mean, I'm an hour away from the southern border, and
do you feel overran?
No.
By all the convoys that are coming over?
I think we have a much bigger problem with homeless people here in Tucson than we do, freaking convoys of immigrants or anything like that.
And how many of those homeless are veterans that we're not taking care of?
A lot. Like, I'm not going to say all of them because, I would bet over 20%.
Yeah.
I would bet over 20% of them are vets.
I think about that a lot when I think about the people who are going to celebrate this weekend. And I know that this is for the fallen soldiers, but for the reality of looking at even anybody who's alive, I always say you got to give them their flowers. And if they have fallen from grace, then I think we need to really think about how we can pick them up.
Yeah, no, I like the way you said that. And, it's again, you have people on the right that want to gut the VA.
Right.
And it's already not great. It may be better, of course it's better than what some other people have. Like I definitely try to keep that in perspective that, the health care I have through the VA is better than what a lot of others have. But, it's still, it took me 6 months just to get to talk to somebody, in the mental health department. Like that's not acceptable.
No, but I don't think we take mental health serious in this country, period. So I could see that would be.
You're going to tell somebody who's having a heart attack, come back in 6 months?
Yeah.
We have to start treating these things because when people are, if the mental health, if somebody dealing with their mental health is to a point where they feel like they have to check themselves in, or they're just desperately looking for help or somebody to talk to, like
Yeah.
6 months from now isn't going to help that.
Right.
We need somebody, if not that day, at least within the next few days. Like, we need to hold on to, like, okay, I just need to hang on for a couple days. Not, I need to hang on for 6 fucking months. Like, imagine being somebody that's depressed or bipolar or whatever, and you're calling for help, and they tell you 6 months. You're going to hang up the phone feeling even more discouraged and hopeless.
And alone.
It's like, and alone.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, the one place that's supposed to help me isn't going to, or at least not for a long period of time.
Yeah.
So, it's like, and they want to defund that. They don't want to give health care to my brothers and sisters who were exposed to burn pits while they were deployed.
Yeah.
They just look at them and say, sorry, that, you signed on the dotted line. It's like, yeah, I didn't sign on the dotted line to inhale that crap.
Yeah. I mean, God, look at what Jon Stewart had to do for the firefighters who are there on 9/11.
For 9/11.
You know what I mean? You're like, these people ran to that to save lives.
Without question.
And this is how you treat them.
Yep.
Like, it's ridiculous.
How we treated them.
How we treated them.
Yep.
You're absolutely right about that. We.
Yep.
Because
that's how I felt watching that. Every time I watch that Jon Stewart, comment, and he's sitting there, by the time he's done, I'm just sitting there going, we really failed these people.
Yeah.
Like, our government failed them. We failed them.
Yeah.
Like you said, man, that's one of them days that anybody that dropped what they were doing and went to ground zero, 9/11, and helped and looked for people and, went through the bodies and went through all that shit, inhaling all that stuff. Yeah, there should have been no question. You take care of those people and you figure it fucking out.
Yeah.
Sorry for cussing, but you figure it out.
Yeah.
And that was essentially what Jon Stewart was saying. Here we are 20 years later.
Yeah.
And these people still haven't been taken care of, and we're sitting here having this conversation.
And a number of the individuals that started with him on that fight were not with him when they got.
We're not with him anymore.
Yeah.
They never got the health care they needed.
Yeah.
They died before getting what they deserved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. People that we gotta immortalize. Who really were there. There is a specific type of marathon that was created for the firemen who ran from the firehouse to ground zero, which I'm like, that's the most amazing thing to ever think about. With all his gear, he put on all his gear and he ran, and he got there and he died. But
when you talk about heroes, Kyle Rittenhouse isn't a hero. The people that showed up on 9/11, those are heroes.
Yeah.
Those are the people that we should look up to, because it didn't matter that day what your political affiliation was. It didn't matter who you were going to vote for, who you voted for. Didn't matter if you voted for George Bush or not. We were all in this together. We were all Americans for not just that day, but that time period. It was the most patriotic. It's the only time that I have seen this country come together in my lifetime. I'm 42. That's the only time that I've ever seen this country put down everything and look at each other and go, this is all of us.
Hey, you know what? I give a lot of credit to Bush during that moment, because as hyper
He handled
toxic,
it better than I could have.
how hyper toxic he was, the environment was towards Muslims. He said, "This is not your brothers, your neighbors. This is not the Muslims in this country.
Yep.
This was terrorist."
He did try to tap that down, pat that
He really
down.
tried to. He really did, and he did level out some of the temperature. But these are the moments where I think, okay, well, what if we had, Agent Orange during that time frame? How would this really look? How
he
would
would have nuked them.
The way that he talks, and he probably would, drink bleach and whatever the case is, like this.
Oh no, he would have nuked them.
Wow.
I without a doubt, 100%, I can say with 90% certainty that he would have been like, oh, let's nuke them.
With what codes? Because
it's just like Pearl Harbor. We got to nuke them. That would be his whole reasoning.
With what codes? He had them in his bedroom. He was giving them away. He was hawking deals. Okay.
Yeah, and by the way, just in case you didn't know it, we don't have this on the outline, but Donald Trump, it came out that after the raid, he had classified documents. More classified documents were found on his freaking nightstand, in his bedroom.
In his bedroom.
Not in the ballroom, not in the bathroom, not in the storage unit, in his person, not in the airplane, in his personal bedroom in Mar-a-Lago. So again, all these people that want to say, oh, he wasn't doing that. It was just stored there. It was an accident. No.
My man was
he was
doing
literally on the phone with Putin the night before. My
man was doing pillow talk with Putin, like, man, 555, 555, 5555. You know what I'm saying? He was there doing it, baby. He was doing it.
And
hey, Pootie. Hey, Pootie. 555, 555, 5555. You know I have the best. 555.
I've got the best codes.
E3.
Oh my God.
27.
We're sorry.
Tell me another joke,
for the
Pootie.
horrible.
Tell me
Actually,
another joke.
yours isn't too bad. Your Trump isn't too bad. Mine's horrible.
I told you, I'm here for the people, baby. I'm not trying to get what's it called? Shut down by YouTube. I'm behaving. I haven't cursed once.
Yeah, I've let 2 slip. My bad.
555, 555.
So, but with that, let's talk about some good news. So, Fani Willis and the judge presiding over Trump's election case both won their re-elections. This gave me,
man. The people came out. People talking.
This gave me hope, because to me, this isn't polls. This isn't pundits saying anything.
Nope.
This is what voters came out, and what they said was.
And this isn't trolls. These aren't trolls.
Yep.
These are.
But they came out and said that these 2 people are doing their job, and we're going to leave them in the positions that they're in.
Do your job. And now, because she's also being looked at because of the appeal, they have to keep this in consideration, that people voted her back in.
Yeah, they have to.
If you're going to
you remove her after she won by 80%,
boom,
like you're done.
Yeah,
you can't. Like they've, and this is what I mean, folks, by when I say that we have to show up November 5th and vote in numbers that are impossible to question.
That's right.
This election right here is what I'm talking about. Fani Willis won by over 80% of the vote. If we show up and vote for Joe Biden and every other Democrat, 70-80% of the vote, they can't sit there and say, oh, it was stolen. Right. No, it wasn't. Like, we blew you out of the water. It wasn't even close.
Take that 20%, go to bed.
That's what we need to do. We all talk about the Supreme Court. Look, and again, this is my left extremism, kicking in. Let me just preface it with that. But if you give Joe Biden the White House for the next 4 years, he doesn't have anything to run for again. He can literally do what he wants. He could pack the court, and then, and most importantly, if we give him a supermajority in the House and the Senate, dude, imagine the shit. He doesn't have to run it for another election. He'll just. I
don't want to imagine anything. I want people to understand the severity that there's a fork in the road for America. And
the Supreme Court's a big part of it.
If you really are coming into this and you're thinking it's the lesser of 2 evils, well, guess what? If Trump wins, and I really want people to sit with this, if Trump wins, he's probably going to get a couple more seats on the Supreme Court, because the 2 crooks, being Clarence Thomas and Alito, are up there in age. They want to retire. They want Trump to pick younger people to take their spot.
Yep.
And when you think about it, there's a reason why they're not recusing themselves for having deep ties and affiliations to Trump's mega movement. With Clarence Thomas's wife being a part of the affiliation of actually helping set up January 6th, getting people there, and being a part of a lot of the conversations that were also tied to. And I'm surprised she's not part of the Arizona case, but being there with Stop the Steal and a number of other scams that were taking place during the 2020 election. Yeah. And when you look at Alito is, I wouldn't be surprised if he was the one who released the documents about the Roe v. Wade leak. I would not be surprised if he was trying to use that as weight.
Well, he's clearly an extremist.
He is an extremist.
Judging from the flags he flies outside of his house.
And blames his wife. I mean,
blames his wife.
He's a coward.
Well, you drove up home and saw it, didn't you?
He is a coward. When I think of weak men, I think of him, and it's one of those things where I'm like, you have this privilege, you have this honor to be on the highest court, and you are so disconnected from actual people.
And it's about
grotesque.
And the people that support this dude, talk about us being beta males and they're alpha males. If this dude was an alpha male, he would have gone home and said, Go out there and take that flag down because it completely compromises my job and what I do for a living. Like, if you want to think
Ryan,
that, think it. But the fact that you have the audacity to go out there and put that flag up in the first place, and then, like you said, you're going to sit there and point the finger at your wife and pin her on it, but you're not going to sit there and admit the fact that you came home every day and saw that flag like that and didn't tell her to take it down, and that you went to that vacation property whenever you did and saw that Christian flag and didn't tell her to take it down. That's as much on you as your wife putting it up.
When you think about who your partner, who you choose, is an extension of yourself, you have to really sit here. I would never pass the blame like, oh, my wife did that. No, we did that. We are in this
our
together.
House.
I don't care who
house.
did it. It's us. We did it.
Yeah.
You know.
Like I said, it's a chicken.
He's a coward.
Crap move to he's a coward.
He's a coward. I love seeing you trying not to curse. This is the best thing about this show.
It's hard, dude. It's hard.
That chicken little.
I'm like, I'm gonna start glitching here in a minute.
What do I do with my hands? What do I do with my hands?
I'm like, hey, but real quick, I wanted to address a question here. Where did it go? Okay. So Missy asked, here's a question. Why did we come together on 9/11, but we couldn't find common ground to come together on January 6th? I ask myself that question so often, I can't tell you.
I can tell you why. I can tell you right now.
Tell us.
Because it wasn't an exterior force that attacked us. It's cancer. It's coming from the inside. And we're not ready to deep root cut any of it out.
Yeah.
If it was anything that was an exterior force, and there is a quote that's out there, America will not die from any outside force. It will only rot from the inside out.
Yep.
And now that's me, not quoting it, but that's the gist of the quote.
Yep.
And I really firmly believe that. Any great empire, which we are an empire, let's be serious, has always folded within.
Yeah.
All the corruption has finally bubbled up to the top. I mean, look at our Supreme Court. We are flirting with the line of how long democracies last. And we're really flirting with that line of allowing a person to say so openly about being a dictator for a day, which we know is whatever. Him flirting with the idea and just saying it because people will be like, oh, well, he just talks a lot. I'm done. Anything he says, I'm holding him accountable for it.
Yep. And I like this too. Jonathan said domestic terrorism is not seen as the threat it should be.
Right.
I agree with that 100%.
They're saying that they walked peacefully through the halls. Yes, after they literally beat up every cop.
Yeah, wiped feces on the wall and
the fact that Nikki Haley did not bring in the National Guard and everybody else.
Nikki Haley?
That's what Donald Trump said.
You mean Nancy Pelosi?
I know what it really happened, but I'm saying what Donald Trump said.
Never mind. I forgot he confused him. Never mind.
That's what I'm saying.
Missed it.
That's why I'm here for you, brother. That's why I'm here for you.
That one went right over my head.
The fact that Nikki Haley did not call in anybody and protect them, says the ex-president. And you're sitting here, and it's like, and for you guys, yes, we all know it's Nancy Pelosi who was there at the time, who was the House Speaker. But Trump, being old, does not know names, and he just gets everything jumbled in his head, and he just rambles on, and it was what it was. Calling Nikki the Speaker of the House at that time. But I wonder, because Ryan, and we've talked about this, if you looked at Black Lives Matter in D.C., they weren't getting close to any property.
Mm-mm.
They weren't getting close to nothing. So let's just be serious.
I think on the topic of what is going to be most damaging to us, and I said this, I wish I could find where I posted it, but I said that the most damaging thing from the Trump presidency wasn't going to be his presidency. It was going to be the Supreme Court justices he put on the bench.
That's right.
And unfortunately, I was right.
Yeah. And then once again, Alito over here.
Yeah. Yep. So the Supreme Court found, a lower court ruled that there was definitely racial bias with the way that they drew the district lines.
And then it went to the appeals court.
And that, yep.
And they said
same thing.
Same exact thing.
Same exact thing.
And then it went to
Supreme Court, and they went the other way.
And they said the other courts got it wrong.
Yep. It was a 6-3 decision.
Weird how that worked out.
Like,
And
I
what was
don't
the
even,
reasoning? What was the reasoning?
Trying to see. In dissent, liberal justices warned that the court was insulating states from claims of unconstitutional racial gerrymandering. In a 6-3 decision, the court held that South Carolina's Republican-controlled legislature did nothing wrong during redistricting when it strengthened Rep. Nancy Mace's hold on the coastal district by moving 30,000 Democratic-leaning black residents of Charleston out of the district.
Mm-hmm. And they said that blacks predominantly vote for Democrats, so therefore it was not a race decision.
Yep. Like, voting districts aren't supposed to look like a freaking Pokemon. They're not supposed to look like crescent moon shapes.
No.
They're not supposed to look like
Mine's
waterfalls.
a phoenix.
Yeah, like
It's like, what?
what happened to the good old days of here's a district. If you fall in this square,
Here's your block. Good luck.
this is this is
You know what's interesting about it is that it holds you accountable to your peers, to who you're supposed to represent.
yeah.
Not let me lump some of these people right here into this ocean of everything that's us, so we could just completely cut off. The fact that and here's the thing that I think about this. I want people to look up what Michigan did, because they did it right. They really did it right. Michigan is way ahead of these 50 states. And the reason why I'm going to say that is Michigan had a Democratic governor, being Gretchen Whitmer, and they had a third party, not a party that's in control, but a third party come in and do the gerrymandering to make it even, to figure out how to actually break up and divide and then create a grid, like Ryan's saying. Once they did that grid, the vote of people's voices started to actually count. And therefore, then they actually turned the House and the Senate in the state of Michigan to represent the people of Michigan, instead of it being this whack job of having, okay, well, I have a governor that is Democratic, but now it's all Republican. Supreme Court all the way down through. And it's like, well, how did that work out when everybody voted for this governor, but then they voted for their senator also, but then the way that they're gerrymandered, it got ruined.
Yeah.
So then when they corrected their map for the first time, you actually saw people's voices actually matter more. And that's what I think we should be looking at. And I wish that we would really be pushing this. I wish that this test that is happening in Michigan would be put on the forefront, because I think that we could all learn from these lessons.
Yeah.
But go ahead, South Carolina. Keep doing what you're doing. We know that Mace is doing her thing.
Yep.
How's her staff?
Nancy Mace. Yeah. Working for somebody else. That's how they're doing.
They're running against her. They're running against her.
Yeah. So I just want to let's cap off the Republican talking point with the RNC integrity lawyer. What do you say?
Oh, what integrity?
Exactly.
What is that? What are we looking at here?
So the top GOP election integrity lawyer was charged in the Arizona fake elector scheme.
It's like, you
Bro,
played
you
yourself.
can't make this shit up,
You know
bro.
what I mean? You know what I mean? The head of security is the crook. Like, what are we doing? What are we talking about here? It's like...
Yeah, her name's Christina Bobb.
Christina Bobb.
Yeah, she was scheduled to appear on April 25th, an online meeting to recruit activists for the GOP's vote-watching effort. Though she didn't show up, the meeting was organized by French conspiracy theorists who, like Bob, have helped spread lies about illegally voting. Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays announced the indictments on April 24th against 18 people, 7 of whose names are redacted. Multiple news organizations have used details in the indictment to identify Bob, and the other 6. Mays on Friday confirmed Bob's indictment.
It's just
Wow.
It's just so wild.
Like, you can't make this up. These people are so far gone. Like, the fact that they're even allowed to vote is scary.
I mean,
honestly.
everything about it is just like, it completely
Terrifying.
throws me off.
Yeah, it's like, what is this? John Lewis Voting Rights Act equals majority for Dems.
And
Yeah.
by that, it's it's bringing back actual. The focus is on voting. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's-
clearly it's in the title, but it's really focused on giving people the power to
Equal representation is the goal.
equal representation. Thank you. and the fact that they are so against it,
Tells you
and
everything you need to know.
yeah, they don't want you to vote. They know that you not voting is giving them power.
These people
100%.
are literally frauds and crooks. Like, they're pointing the fingers at liberals and Democrats and saying, oh, look at them. It's not us.
No.
Like, usually when a Democrat gets in trouble, we hold them accountable. Like
Bob Mendez.
Mendez, freaking Como, who was the senator, the comedian?
Al Franken. That
Al
one,
Franken.
man, that was... They sent him to slaughter, and they should not.
So it's like, don't sit there and say we don't hold ours accountable. Now,
Yeah.
I can give you a literal receipt, a CVS long receipt of the things Donald Trump has done
with coupons.
with the coupons, and you guys still, you still just sit there and shrug your shoulders and say, but the liberals. Like, that's why I laugh at you. That's why I make fun of you. That's why I call you names, because there's no point in me wasting any of my intelligence or my brain power on coming up with something that would be such a good burn that you wouldn't understand it because the words are too big for you. So I sit there and I keep my responses to 4-letter words so that you little-brained people can understand what I'm trying to tell you. Because I'm tired of this. You guys literally support a criminal, a prolific criminal, a rapist, an accused pedophile. Like, I don't understand how you guys want us to take you seriously. I don't understand how you sit there and clutch your pearls and wonder why we call you names or why we call out you supporting people like Donald Trump. These people are the worst among us, and you're giving them power. You're giving them influence. Because you want to know what the real problem with Donald Trump and Elon Musk is? And yeah, I'm going to throw Elon Musk into this because he's doing some really terrifying stuff on Twitter. The problem is that so many rich Americans have invested in people like Trump and Musk that they can't afford to let them fail. They can't afford for them to go to prison. They can't afford for them to get taken down, because when they go down, so do the investors.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of the problem here. When you say, what does Elon Musk have on people? What does Donald Trump have on people? Their fucking money, their investments, their time. People have invested so much into these people, and now that we're finding out that Elon Musk isn't the genius that people thought he was, that he isn't the brain power behind a lot of the things happening in his companies.
No.
And if Twitter is any indication, he is a horrible business person, because anybody that would take such a worldwide known brand and completely tank it, after paying $44 billion for it and renaming it something that doesn't make sense and that somebody else already had a patent for, like, it makes absolutely no sense.
It's hilarious to see every article that comes out where it says X, formerly Twitter, or it's always a bracket that says Twitter. I just laugh.
Yeah.
As a branding standpoint, I'm like, you really did just nuke that. Like, you just had to come in with the
You
little
guys see
blue
the
bird.
dog?
We can see the dog. We can see your dog.
Oh, did she? Yeah, she's hanging out
posted up.
down there. Yeah, she's hanging out.
She's so cute.
She's like, hurry up, Dad.
She's like, I want my belly rub. But it's,
Don't.
yeah, I mean, when you see how he's handled it, but this is also, apparently they're trying to look into Trump's promise to the billionaire oil and fossil fuel industry about how he'll start eradicating, all the EPA laws.
Yeah.
If they vote for him, if they put the money behind him, because
Yeah,
he needs the
he'll
money.
deregulate everything.
Yeah.
Which is what they want.
Yep.
Yeah, and then and by the way, when they say that, what is it? I'm losing the word. Pro-capitalism. That's what they mean. That's actually what they mean.
Who has the bank account?
Wow, that's a lot of people say Elon's on the spectrum, so I try hard not to attack him from that aspect, because I have people in my family that are on the spectrum, and it's like, but they manage to not be complete jackoffs like Elon. You know what I'm saying? Like, I give him some grace for it, because being on the spectrum, I'm sure, is difficult, especially in the position he's in. But at the same time, being on the spectrum doesn't excuse a person doing and saying some of the things that Elon is saying. And to have the platform that he does, and to be saying the irresponsible things and posting the misinformation that he does, that's what makes it so dangerous. It's not just me being a hater. Like, I literally have what I think are justified reasons to be concerned with how he does business. That's it. That's all I had to say about that. You good over there, dude?
So, wow.
You having technical issues? Uh-oh. When Ian just smiles and stares, it's technical issues. But so with that, we got the RNC election integrity lady. Yeah, Ian's having some issues. So I'll start talking about. I'm going to talk about Airman Fortson. Why we wait for him. So, oh man, you guys get to see my big old face. Don't I have it? What? Oh, did I click it? Okay, so Roger Fortson was airman who was laid to rest this week. If you don't know who he was, I'm gonna try to. Oh, okay, I do have it up. Never mind. So this is the. I think Ian's back. Ian. So this is the article. The Pentagon said. Oh no, that's not it. Jeez. See?
Give me the article.
No, it's former. Where is it? There it is. Sorry, guys. So, former Chief Master Sergeant Wright was speaking on Roger Fortson, who was laid to rest this week, and what Air Force leaders can do next. This is really a big deal because this was an active duty senior airman who was murdered while he was standing in his own home. And what really bothers me is the Second Amendment movement people, the constitutionalists who are all coming out and blaming the the black man who answered his door with a firearm pointed at the door. Thank
you for that respect.
Thank you. Pointed with the firearm pointed at the ground. Never raised it to the officer, and the officer shot him 6 times before telling him to put the gun down.
Yeah.
And Roger Fortson's last words were, "I don't have it. It's over there." So
the level of control that man showed, especially in the amount of fear, like he was trying to control the situation where he was trying to let the officer know, like, this is not a threat, and the lack of training that we all are talking about that is necessary for the police, that we've always asked since George Floyd, since we brought this to the forefront. I think you sent me the reverend or the speaker.
Which one?
His funeral, the speech at his funeral.
Oh, I don't think I sent that to you.
You don't. I saw it recently this week, and I was blown away to listen to it. And it was one of those things where we're like, this man didn't die of cancer. This man didn't die of a heart attack. He was murdered. And we are sitting here, and we're going to talk about everything across the world, but we're not going to talk about this.
Yep.
We're not going to be up in arms about this. Like, what is a man's life to you who did nothing? And this was the best of us. Yep.
And Chief Master Sergeant Wright, he's been vocal about things like this before. He was vocal after the George Floyd killing. But something that he wrote, he says, "Who am I? I'm a black man who happens to be the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force," he wrote at the time. "What happens all too often in this country to black men who are subjected to police brutality that ends in death could happen to me." The post also included a warning that became reality earlier this month. "This, my friends, is my greatest fear. Not that I will be killed by a white police officer, but that I'll wake up to a report that one of our black airmen has died at the hands of a white police officer." And that's exactly what happened. So, it's crazy to read that from this man who, was talking about 3-4 years ago this happening, that he was afraid that he was going to wake up to this exact thing.
Yeah.
So it just shows you, all the pundits and all the people that talk about it, if you want to talk about listening to individuals who have the experience and credentials to make comments like this, I'm going to listen to somebody like Chief Master Sergeant Wright, who lives this life and who clearly saw this problem years ago, So to sit there and ignore it, to say it wasn't racial, that race didn't play a part in it, it's all lies. It's all nonsense. And, I think anybody that has the ability to take in information and change their minds on things can look at this case and know that what happened was wrong. It's just really upsetting, not just from the standpoint of him being a black man, but him being an active duty member of our military. Like this wasn't some guy that wasn't doing much or didn't have any. Like this is a man that was serving his military in a special operations unit.
And when he's in his own home, was in his own home.
He was in his own home.
Yeah.
And I, while it was reported and things, I do not feel like there was enough outrage for this. I still do not feel like there has been enough outrage and protest for this. I've been a little disappointed in people that have similar platforms to mine that have chosen to stay silent about this. If I can do anything right now, I hope I can get more people talking about this man, because what happened to him should never happen again.
Yeah.
And with that, let's move on to Ron DeSantis down in Florida, because it's related. So we talk about policing in Florida and things like that, which is where this happened, by the way. Airman Fortson was murdered in Florida. And so Ron DeSantis has a $13.5 million police program that lures officers with violent records to Florida. So, again,
Florida man with a badge. That's what that is.
The same police department or the same sheriff's department that shot at a car because an acorn fell on it now murdered a black man in his own home. It's the same sheriff's department. And then you see things like that in the programs that they have to bring people in that they already know have bad records. It's like,
Ryan, it's insane to me when you think about it.
Yeah. I mean,
when you look at it, it's like Florida man with a badge. Like you're like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
But I also think it's always Ron DeSantis trying to make headlines because he's so irrelevant.
I mean, there's a lot of it. He's as personable as a turtle. I mean,
don't be disrespectful to turtles, okay? I like Ninja Turtles, all right?
Ninja Turtles are fine, but we had turtles and them. Sorry, man. They're cool to look at. He's
as cuddly as a porcupine, okay? That's just what it is.
Pretty much.
That's what he's at.
But again, it's just to see what's happening down there. What we're seeing happen is the development of these programs that they've put into place.
Right.
Now we're seeing the fallout of having unqualified, officers and sheriffs, with histories that, are trigger happy or easily excitable or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
It's just if you are so high strung that an acorn sets you off, or a man opening his door with a firearm pointed at the ground in his own home sets you off, then you're probably in the wrong profession.
It's interesting because if you look at what happened to the golfer at this most recent PGA Tour, and was it Kentucky, and they arrested him, and how aggressive they were about arresting this man. We were just like, okay, it's a traffic violation. Okay, he crossed the barrier.
When I saw him lean into the car, I was like, why are they leaning into his car? And then they basically start dragging him out. I was like, somebody said something. They're like the way you guys treated him, it was like he was doing donuts around there, like hitting people and dragging people.
Yeah.
Like,
and the cop
it was
said,
kind of what I expected to see.
And then he hit a cop, and it was aggression towards a cop, and it's like, okay, but you guys say that shit. You guys say the guy shot him 6 times and said put the gun down, or whatever.
Yeah, after.
But after he was already shot, it's like.
But then they had like 5 or 6 guys all go around his vehicle, and I'm sitting there like, you guys were concerned for
my
you.
My favorite is at the PGA now. That crowd, you'd already know, white collared, is like, I am appalled by the way these officers. We need to look at reform.
How could they do that?
If it's the PGA that takes them out, I go, then you know what? I'll take it. I'll take it out live.
Yeah, we'll take it as a win.
I'll take it. Hey, hit him with that golf clap.
Hit him with the golf clap.
Get him. That's where we're at.
And again, I just want to touch on it because it shows how hateful this dude is. But Ron DeSantis bravely saves Floridians from exposure to non-patriotic bridges.
Oh my God.
This is America, people. We can't just light up our infrastructure in whatever colors we want. That would be huge socialism.
My man wants to ban reading Rainbow. Okay, just because of the title and that slogan at the very beginning. It's ridiculous.
Like,
I'm sure he hates Peacock, the app, and he also probably hates NBC's logos on his TV. Like, get out of here.
I just don't understand this whole lack of inclusion. These white straight people that just lose their minds. It's like inclusion isn't bad.
Yeah.
But it's the same people that are sitting there saying, well, DEI, is this and that. And it's like, yeah, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Yeah, those things sound so horrible.
Ryan, I got this job because you were looking for more color for the show.
Well, I mean, that's true.
But
But I put it in the job description. I mean, you got to give me that. Oh man.
And there it is.
I'm gonna take some shit for that joke.
From your kids.
No, from the haters. Oh, by the way,
okay.
what was I? So, by the way, where is it? Let me move my head. My cactus jack.
Oh, it's there.
It's there, buddy.
I love it.
Jen is watching the show now, and I know that because when we got off the show last week, she goes, yeah, so I was watching the show, and I heard you say, don't tell Jen how much I spent on that, she'll kill me. I was like, great, the one time you watch the show is when I say some shit like that.
She got that in closed caption and everything. She's on you.
But I'll give her credit. She didn't ask me how much. She just kind of looked at me, and I was like, yeah, we don't need to say anymore.
Uh-huh. Next question.
Yep.
I love it.
Exactly. So, let's see what else we got here. I think we're about done. Do we want to talk about that? Yes, we do want to. We're not going to talk about this, but we're going to finish on the Pentagon because we talked about this last week.
Yeah.
We had talked about the port that the U.S. had built to bring aid into Gaza. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. And the Pentagon said that none of the aid that was unloaded at the dock made it to where it needed to go.
The checkpoint. Nope.
And what we had said last week was, and I'm paraphrasing, but we had said something along the lines of, I hope that they have, like no kidding security at that pier so that it can't be destroyed. But then more importantly, once that leaves that pier, they better have like a convoy of American military with them, making sure it gets to where it goes, because if they don't, I'm afraid it's not going to get where it's supposed to go. Nope. And so, once again, I hate being right about these things. That's exactly what happened. So hopefully, and another thing we said, this is how we end up having to send troops to this conflict, is because there's no point in us sending aid if we can't guarantee it getting to where it goes.
Well, it makes me want to ask the question, like, because if you have this conversation that they're being starved and they're being locked out from any resources, and then you're like, okay, but we just built this for you, and now here you go, and we're doing directly this to get this to you, and then it gets hijacked from point A to point B by whoever. Hijacked by whoever.
Yep.
How are you then going to put this on Israel, as in like you're trying to starve these people? Because fast forward to today, right? This is Monday that this happened. Fast forward to today, the ICJ said that, the lawyer, the prosecutor who's now put charges on Netanyahu, his actual charges are on the starvation of the people of Gaza. So we're sitting here, and you're like, you're talking about Hamas, a terrorist organization, and what they did, which was rape, pillage, and murder, and start this specific war. We can go back in history if you want to, but we're just talking about this war. starting this, because everybody, I want to keep in mind, October 6th was a ceasefire. So you want a ceasefire, get your fucking time machine. I cursed. I did my first one. Cursed. Get your time machine. Go back to October 6th. That was a ceasefire.
Yeah.
October 7th, here we are now, fast forward, present day, and you have terrorists who are trying to blow up these ports of entry and firing rockets from Rafah at these ports. And then here we go. And you're talking about how we don't have the resources to get to people. But I will give some credit. I don't like Netanyahu, but I got to give him some credit. He did say that I would get the people out of Rafah out of the way so I can go do this situation. And the whole Biden camp said, you can't do this. It's impossible. They did get hundreds of thousands of people out of the way. Within
the satellite photos were pretty impressive.
Night and day.
Yeah.
To see how much they helped to assist get people out of the way, get them the information they needed on where.
I didn't think they could do it.
You know, but this is what is really amazing about this is like people. But I thought about it, Ryan. I was like, how. I thought about what you said before about how there could be an uprising where the people fight Hamas, because that's the only way it's going to take. You know, right now they don't feel empowered enough to go up against their own government to get them out of the situation. Because if enough people were like, here's where Hamas is, this is where the hostages are, this is how we can get this going. It's like, you know, what does it take?
Look at it like this way too, man. Like, what does Hamas have if they don't have hostages?
They have billions of dollars from Iran.
If you figure out a way to no longer make them the victims, but you actually make them able to, you know, maybe not even just defend themselves, but to actually go on the offensive as well.
Yeah.
Like you said, you know, we keep looking at each other and saying, well, what can we do different? What can we do? And it's like, you know, like I said, I'll say when I'm wrong. I didn't think they'd be able to get all those people out of there. And, you know, you can't argue with satellite images. They got a crap ton of people out of there, out of Rafah. Yeah. So, you know, like I said, I can't sit there and criticize that because they got a crap ton of people out there, and I didn't think they were going to be able to do it.
And Ryan, I'm looking at it sideways, man, because since they got into Rafah, they've now uncovered a number of the dead bodies of hostages that they have now returned back to their homeland.
Is it more than the 3, or?
There was a 3 that they found at, that I believe was last show that we talked, and they just found 3 more. They just found 3 men.
Did they find three more? Jesus.
3 more. And this is the thing that's really tragic. These three men all had dual citizenship at a different country. And it's like, keep that in mind. These are not just Israelis that are, you know, being killed. These are people from all over the globe who were just kidnapped or killed that day, and then their bodies brought into Gaza as a bargaining chip. Yeah. And then the deal that they agreed upon was, being Hamas, these terrorists, that they were going to release hostages that were dead or alive. These were their bargaining chips.
And Missy says, my biggest concern is how many hostages are still alive. Their bargaining power is crap. And I think I asked that during the other show too, but I think I asked it in the context of, you know, what's the goal, you know, if we're not getting these people back alive, like, and clearly it's more of a recovery, you know, agenda or mission at this point. You know, you still want your loved ones back, whether
it's
they're
a healing process. If they have died,
sure.
I would like them to be home so I can mourn them here.
Yeah, exactly.
And not, you know, rotting in a tunnel.
Yep.
You know how tragic this is. But also, since they entered into Rafah, they found 700 tunnels. How deep it is, and 50 leading into Egypt.
Yeah.
So how does Egypt feel about this? Because Egypt's real quiet right now. And there was something, I don't know if I sent it to you. I think we were going to talk about it maybe next show. But when you look at Rafah's divided a straight line between it. And you have Rafah that is in the Gaza Strip, and then you have Rafah that is in Egypt.
Right.
And when you look at the satellite footage of it, the Rafah that's on Egypt is just open land. And I really wonder, what is Egypt doing on this part with their Arab brothers and sisters? They could be helping them and open up a space for them to keep it, just like how we built this dock to help out the situation.
Didn't they refuse?
They say it again.
Didn't Egypt refuse?
Refused. They did refuse. Absolutely.
Okay.
They absolutely refused, and they're now just saying that they will help with the Rafah crossing and getting supplies back in again. But when you're looking at this, you're like, but there's so much more you could be doing, and you could be asking for help. America, come over here, help us create a border right here. We're going to block up this area. This is the no-go zone for anybody that is not, women and children. You're welcome in here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so much more that's happening, and they're like, no, we're not doing it.
No. Like I said, the whole thing over there is just, it's heart-wrenching, and I wish I had better answers for a better way to do it, but yeah, I don't. So
all
it's
I know
hard.
is that whatever's happening in those debriefings, our government is making some decisions because I think that they know something that we do not.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
And only time is going to reveal itself for all of us of what's really unfolding with this.
Yep. But this is why I if you look at all my social media stuff, I rarely post about it because it's like, first off, when it all first started kicking off, I got my hand, caught in the door a few times just because you post something that you think is right, but it's not. And then you got to go delete it and say, shit, sorry, I was wrong about that, or, the source was bad or whatever. And it's like, that just kept happening. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to, back off and make sure I have all the information, before I start running my mouth. And like I said, I just keep coming back to there's so much context, and nuances with this conflict. It's not black and white. There's so many things that leave a lot of us just shrugging our shoulders and saying we don't have a better answer.
Yeah.
And that's the crux of it all. I think when you boil it down is, well, do you have a better answer? Because I don't. And then if we don't have a better answer, and what they're doing is working in terms of moving people out of the way as best as possible, going in and trying to find their
for urban warfare, the numbers are, and I'm sorry that it sounds cold and calculated, but the numbers are drastically low for what it should be, for it being this many people in that small amount of land.
Yeah.
Because when you look at what we did,
I hate saying that that way, but
but keep in mind that Hamas is also not giving you who's soldier versus who's child versus who. The numbers are just, this is how many Palestinians have been killed. And it's not, you're taking a word of a terrorist organization that literally just raped and killed and said, we didn't rape anybody. And they're like, but no, but we have the documents. You literally GoPro this shit. It's there. And like, why are we doing this dance? We have all this evidence. And it's like, and that's where now the prosecutor is saying he wants to put out a arrest warrant. Now, mind you, with what's happening with that is this is a prosecutor who's just saying, I would like to arrest. Nothing's been passed. Nothing's been anything. It has to go to a judge. A judge has to say, whatever kind of judgment they want to do on this. But it sets a certain precedence where it's like, okay, but where is all the evidence that you're providing now where you're saying this, you're justifying,
right.
You're taking a Israeli soldier, the IDF, one of the head members of Netanyahu's camp, saying that, we will remove all of our resources, water, supply, energy, everything. We're cutting them off because we are going to war. And you're talking about him saying that October 8th. How do you expect him to feel when he's giving his war cry? So that's your evidence, When you talk about what they've actually been providing and what's been happening, and then now look at America providing this massive amount of materials, food, supplies, and then no one is held accountable when it goes missing. What are we doing here?
Yeah, that is a little. I don't even know what to say to that. The Pentagon comes out and says we don't know where it went. How the hell do you not know where it went? And like I said, more importantly, why?
My man, real quick.
Why is
I got an air tag on a dog. I know where this dog goes. Okay?
I was about to say, like, why are we, two guys sitting on our homes doing a podcast, able to come up with a plan better than what the hell they just did? Like,
the FBI is taking notes.
Yeah, well,
Oh, it's Friday. Hold on, Captain. Hold the mic is on.
Yeah, right. No, it's more like roll the tape back, roll the tape back.
Here we are, and here we are, and here we are.
Oh, geez. Well,
So,
on that note, what was your positive for the week, bro?
my positive is I got a new song dropping this weekend.
Oh, okay.
I thought I'd give
Nice.
some to the people. It's actually one of the first tracks that I think I've ever submitted to you, and I got that dope video of you in your car blasting it. I went back. I did a couple little edits, little changes I wanted to make, and just a couple little tweaks, and then I just renamed it BK 3030, Brooklyn 3030, and then I did the artwork for it, which was really dope to create this futuristic, almost like a steampunk futuristic version of Brooklyn. And then I got to take a picture of the Brooklyn Bridge and then pretty much sample my own work, and then
Yeah.
instill this beautiful piece of the Brooklyn Bridge in there, and then create this this dope little collage. My style of artwork.
Nice.
So I love that I get to be so creative in these moments. When we talk about you decompressing and getting off social media, mine is traveling within, and it's
Yeah.
my creative side that I get to block out everything and really just kind of just be in my own space and do what I need to do. Thank you, Patrick, for giving me some love, man. I really appreciate you. And it's really here's the kicker. This project I'm working on, I'm making just off my iPhone.
Yeah.
This is it. This is
I know,
all I'm
it's
doing.
crazy.
This is it. When you see that ghost face, this is me getting crazy, my man. Getting crazy. So when I tell you that all my art, anything I create, the picture, the logo art, anything, the music, the sounds, everything I'm doing, I'm sampling all within my phone. And then even the business side of it, the distribution, the copyright, the publishing, everything I'm doing, it's all within my phone. And it's a
Yep.
really fun project because I feel like as an artist, it's really amazing to kind of have it and like really flex on how it's up here. That's all it takes is up here.
Yep.
Forget all the bells and whistles and whatever people are trying to offer. Just really lock in yourself and do what you need to do. So
Yep.
it's been fun. So I got a new song dropping out. It's called BK 3030. So check out your streaming sites for seeing that come out this weekend.
Nice. Well, that's good, man. You make sure you send it to me. I'll put it out on my Twitter too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's good, man. Like I said, I'm excited that you're finally, getting back into it. Because like we've talked about 100 times, it's such a different, I think, landscape than when you were trying to do it before.
Yeah.
It's a little easier for you to get it out there, and and we're building this platform together too. And it's like, so now you have a delivery tool to be able to get your music out. So it's not just posting it and hoping somebody finds it. Now we're actually able to amplify it a little bit. So
Well, I appreciate you, man. Really, you've been a great advocate, and you've been really pushing me to dip my little toes in the water. So I give you a lot of credit, Ryan.
That's what we got to do, brother. But building this podcast it's fun, and just like I said in a post earlier, the reason that this will be a successful endeavor is because of everybody that listens. We added a few new countries this past month, France, and what was the other one? France and I can't remember now. But yeah, so we are being listened to in 6 different countries now. So pretty
Big things, brother.
Pretty excited about that. So we're
Internationally
getting there.
pimping.
Yep, we're at episode 18, and we're already getting heard in the UK and Ireland and France, and so yeah, man, it's all because of you guys out there, and gals too. So thank you, everybody. It's because of you. I don't forget that. Ian doesn't forget that. We don't take you for granted. And we truly do enjoy spending our Fridays with you and ranting and raving about all the craziness that's going on. So thank you for spending your time with us. Make sure that you subscribe to the podcast on all your favorite listening platforms. There's no excuse for you not to take us with you. We're available on iTunes, iHeart, Spotify, all of that. So you can listen to us in the car, you can listen to us at your desk, you can listen to us in the bathroom. We don't care. As long as you're listening and liking, then we're happy. And with that said, brother, you got anything?
No, man, have a great time with your family, and just think about all the fallen soldiers that we've had.
Yes.
Those with capes, without, you know what I mean? People who are really just really given for this country, for us to be here and to do what we do right now. Um, be present, be in your family's lives, have a great time,
Yeah.
make some memories. Some of y'all make some mistakes, and
Yeah.
to you haters, I like you too, man. Go ahead, just enjoy yourself.
I forgot my positive.
I actually about to say to you, where was
I
your
forgot my
positive?
positive. I'm going to give it real fast too because I really
Do it.
want to give it. So what happened was somebody messaged me and they saw my Dodgers hat and they said, "Oh, you're a Dodgers fan." I'm like, "Yeah." So I said, "Oh, I'm going to send you something." And so the funny thing was I accidentally sent them. I copied my address and pasted it. Instead of it doing my PO box, it was my actual house address. So I sent them to him. And I was like, "Yep, that's actually my house address. So if you could not share that, that'd be great." And he was like, "No, don't worry about it, dude." So the box comes and it's got like handwriting, my name on it. And I bring it in the house and Jen's like, "Who's that from?" And I'd forgotten about the interaction. So
Yes.
I'm like, "I don't know." She's like, "You better take that crap outside. Don't open it in here." So I literally opened it outside. But what it was it was a baseball. And it was a baseball from the Dodgers. So it's like it's a no BS ball. But
You about
it
to
was
have
one.
Sandlot happen at your house, man.
Bro, so they sent me that, and then but the really cool one was they sent me so it's from the Dodgers, but it's Star Wars, and it's got different things on each side.
Get
So I was like,
out.
that was
Oh, I
so
love
cool.
it.
So
I love it.
I get so much hate and negativity. It was just just little something so little and thoughtful like that. It just made my week. So
You're a collector, man, and I love that people are paying
I
attention.
am. I'm a collector, so that's what made it even more special. So it's
That's
gonna be.
dope.
You'll see the baseball from now on. It'll be back there next to my Ayrton Senna race car. So it'll be right there. So thank you so much. I
That's
appreciate
a
the
great,
gift and the
great positive.
love. And yeah, so we'll end the show like that. Make sure you like, subscribe. We love you guys. We appreciate you. And as always, much love. Keep fighting. Stay safe out there. And remember, no matter what you do, make sure you get out and vote.